It took a lot of digging, but we finally found treasure among the trash. And in this trophy video, we're gonna do things a little different. So often we see the same sorts of items popping up again and again, and we already know why they're valuable. But some players don't even pick up certain items that could fetch them a fortune. So in this episode, we're looking at all new D2R items for unique builds or with unique attributes that really set them apart and increase their value. We'll even take a look at the most expensive and most rare melee ring that's ever been found, and that includes since the days of LOD. Let's start off by looking at some items for a lot of people's favorite build, the Goldfind Barbarian. All right, F. France, I'll take the bait. Look at this Goldfind amulet. +2 to barbarian skills, a near perfect roll on Goldfind, teleport charges, resistances, and even passes that crucial 8% FCR breakpoint for an amulet. This is perfectly complemented by the Goldfind Barbarian helm that he submitted. 222 open socket. Off to a good start in a lot of senses there, but this one has a perfect 80% Goldfind roll on it. Although cast speed is not necessarily important on this build, when you do teleport to the council, it's good to be able to hit that 38% breakpoint if need be, and you have very limited items that can allow you to get there. The cool thing about a helm like this is it actually outshines the total amount of Goldfind that you can get from an IK helm, which is what a lot of Goldfind Barbarians use as standard. Let's polish off this small section by showing the boots that Audie submitted. A near perfectly rolled set of tri-res boots here, good in a lot of situations with 30% faster run walk, but that 72% extra Goldfind really puts these in a niche spot for this particular build. So the only thing we're missing from this little lineup is a perfectly crafted caster belt with 10 cast that has insane Goldfind on it as well. I'll be looking for that one in the trophy room next. On to some low-level dueling items. While the LLD community can be a low-balling bunch, they are certainly willing to pay top dollar for some of the best items, and this armor submitted by IQ Limited is certainly one of those. It's said that this is actually the best low-level dueling armor on Battle.net right now. You can see that it's ethereal and replenishes its own durability. It has 2 sockets and a perfect 100% enhanced defense. Usually when you see armors like this that are E-rep, there's 2 things you're gonna wanna see with that: a naturally high defense armor, but also a very high roll on enhanced defense. It's really the key reason as to why these would wanna be E-rep. A lot of people ask about what types of jewels should be put into these types of armor. For builds that would use this, you're probably gonna be looking for up to 20% enhanced damage, which is the max that can roll at level 30 or below, along with some stats, strength and dexterity. However, max damage jewels can also go a long way, much like this jewel submitted by Fax. Fax picked up this jewel right here for 2 bear runes and ended up selling it for 9,000 forum gold. You guys know by now that 24 max damage jewels are usually the king in a lot of circumstances in LLD, but there's also some very good options at the rare quality. You can see that it says adds 6 to 15 damage here. That's basically a concatenation of min and max damage. So the grand total of additional damage on this jewel is 21, 6 plus 15. So be on the lookout for adds damage jewels like that with that low level requirement, as those tend to be very good, much like this next jewel submitted by Jord. This one has a grand total of 25 damage on it, 8 minimum, 17 maximum, and also has dexterity. A lot of physical damage builds love these, chargers in particular, but the sheer fact that the total amount of damage on this jewel exceeds 24 is extremely rare in LLD and makes it very valuable. On to the final item for low-level dueling. Mort submitted this Divine Scepter, which is nearly perfect for a Liberator build in LLD. Liberators are hammered-ins that also do a significant amount of damage with charge. And what you would want to do with this is turn it into an Honor rune word. That will give you an additional +1 to skills, deadly strike, enhanced damage. And when you have this sort of roll with +3 to concentration and +3 to blessed hammer, it's basically like +4 to skills on a scepter. Now the kicker here is that a lot of those builds use tier haunch greaves to give them access to vigor without having to put points into that skill tree. But when you get it from a scepter as well, that allows you to wear different types of boots that might give you 40% faster run walk. That will allow your paladin to zip around the map extremely fast and catch a lot of your opponents. And that's extremely important in low-level dueling. Let's move on to some items with some weird abilities that people are always asking about and might not actually know to look for. Let's start by looking at this ring submitted by Sorrel. You might know why life, mana, strength, and cast is good, but a lot of people ask why replenish life is good. Contrary to popular belief, a lot of duels aren't necessarily over quickly. Come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. They can go on sometimes for many minutes. Anytime you see the replenish life stat, that means that the item replenishes that amount of life over the course of 10 seconds. So over the course of those long grindy duels, replenish life adds up. Also in these videos, when we see tiaras or coronets or diadems, a lot of times people are looking for 220s, 2 to skills and 20% faster cast. But some of them don't need cast at all to actually be extremely valuable. Along those same lines, Legalize submitted this helm. This diadem has neither faster run walk nor cast, and it still may actually be the best helm of its kind on Battle.net. This would be put onto a melee paladin, the old click and hold builds in PvP. You obviously want the +2 to skills, but you do see that visionary mod on this one as well. We all know that those stats are very nice. This one also has +8 to maximum damage. Combine all of those with the fact that this rolled with 2 sockets makes this probably the best melee paladin helm on Battle.net right now. And speaking of the best on Battle.net, this ring is estimated to be worth well over 100,000 forum gold and may actually be the best melee ring found since the days of Lord of Destruction. This is owned by Trojan, who got this for extremely cheap early on in D2R launch. But most people wouldn't necessarily know that this is good. It doesn't have your 2 traditional starter mods on it, those being 9 to min damage or 10% faster cast. Think about the builds that we talked about that are sitting there clicking and holding and trying to hit their opponent with physical attacks. In those scenarios, this ring is nearly perfect. Attack rating, huge boost to stats, and a near perfect roll to life. Dexterity, of course, helps with block percent, but it also boosts up your attack rating. Strength on any of those builds is practically synonymous with enhanced damage. And of course, in a back and forth battle like that, it often comes out to who has the higher life total. So wrap all of those cool things into one ring, and there you have it. We also get a lot of questions about rare items that are submitted into the trophy room and why they're worth so much. We had 3 really nice submissions this month from 2HZ, Snowball, and Yaya. All 3 of these submissions illustrate a very good point about rare items in Melee. First of all, the reason why rare items are super expensive in Melee is because it's a very niche way of dueling in PvP, and just about all of the rule sets ban grief. Because of that, rare items have a very unique chance to shine. In any of these items, you're going to be looking for very specific stats, and just about all of these have those. Attack speed is very important. A trophy will at least include 30% IAS on any of these melee items. The Cruel mod can roll anywhere from 200% to 300% enhanced damage, and all of them will include that. Because the chance to hit your opponent is also important, they need to have the Fool's mod, and for a huge added bonus to the base damage of the weapon, they almost always have to be ethereal. These submissions have all of the factors to make them insanely valuable melee items. In case you've ever found one that's close and needed something to go off from, these are some pretty good examples. If you ever find yourself a melee item like this, just be patient. There's likely going to be a buyer out there somewhere, and when it finally does sell, it'll probably fetch you over 40,000 forum gold. And if you've got some trophy items that have sold for ass loads or that are just super rare, don't hesitate to post them in the trophy room of the Discord, and I will be sure to check them out.